What's up, guys? My name is Gabe, and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. We have finally made it to game week after an excruciatingly long offseason. Man, that felt like it took forever, especially these last few weeks. It's just been a drag to get to this point, but we're here and we have a very fun video for you today. Take whatever opinion you have about Jayden Maiava and throw it out the window. Today, we're not doing opinions. Today's a video about cold, hard facts. We're going to be diving into the advanced analytics, and we're going to be looking at what is Jayden Maiava actually good at, what are his strengths, what makes him special, and then we're also going to look at what does he need to improve on to take that next step to be a Heisman level quarterback. Because he has the talent. Physical talent has never been a question here. It's the decision making, it's the processing, it's all of that stuff. I know that this can be a very sensitive topic for people. If you don't just come out and say that Jayden Maiava is for sure going to win the Heisman, people come out of the woodworks and attack you. But today is not that kind of video. These are stats, numbers, and just facts. So yeah, very excited to get more into this. If you guys are enjoying the videos, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you're checking out the USC football podcast that I do with Tim Prangley. The link to our YouTube is down below in the description, as well as the link to our podcast profile. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and a lot more. Also, make sure you're subscribing to the Trojan Blade Patreon. That does help me continue to do this full time. Really helps more than I could possibly say. All right, guys, but now that that's all taken care of, let's get into it. All right, so first things first, we're going to be taking a look at passing depth. Now, what this means is short, medium, and deep. Short is 0 to 9 yards, medium is 10 to 19 yards, and deep is 20 plus yards. Now, that's going to be air yards on the ball, how far the ball travels before it hits the receiver's hands. If he throws a swing pass that goes for 50 yards, that does not count as a deep ball. But if he throws a 10-yard hook, that's going to count as a medium ball. Okay, so with that in mind, let's start at the short range, 0 to 9 yards. So he actually graded out here better than I thought. He has an 86.2 overall grade in the short range, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, with an adjusted completion percentage of 71.9%. Now, what an adjusted completion percentage is it takes out drops, and it also takes out throwaways. So yeah, 72% pretty much in that short range, 0 to 9 yards. Now, if we're going to see a much improved Jayden Maiava this year, I think that's where he needs to do his best work. That 0 to 9 range, let Jacoby get the ball and run. Let Makai Lemon get the ball and run. Checkdowns are absolutely your friend, especially when you have weapons like we do. If you don't have the speed or explosiveness on the outside, then yeah, I get wanting to force things downfield to your possession receivers. But in this offense with these guys, if Jayden can pick them apart in that 0 to 9 yard range, I think that would do wonders for sustaining longer drives, keeping the defense off the field. It's just good all around. Now, looking at the directional passing in the 0 to 9 yard range, he's actually pretty consistent. When he's throwing to the left, he's at an 82.6 grade. When he's throwing down the middle, he's at an 81.9 grade. And then when he's throwing to his right, it does drop off a little bit at 72.2. But with only 12 pass attempts to his left, 10 to his right, he actually has 35 throwing down the middle in this short range. So if he can really work that this year, hit those tight ends, hit the backs out of the backfield, I think that would help him, it would help Lincoln Riley, and it would for sure help this entire team. Okay, now moving beyond the 0 to 9 yard range, let's look at the medium range, which is 10 to 19 yards. Now this is for sure the weakest spot of Jayden's game. He has a 58.8 overall grade here, a 61.5 adjusted completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and when we look through the directional passing, 51.6 grade to his left, 57.3 down the middle, and a 70.2 throwing to his right. Now, outside the short passing, he is a very strong passer throwing to the right side of the field. You'll see it when we get to the deep section, but yeah, he's really comfortable throwing to his right. Now, the intermediate part of the field is extremely important, especially in this Lincoln Riley offense. We use that a ton. And overall, 20% of his passes in this part of the field were turnover worthy. That's obviously way too high. So if Jayden Maiava is to take a big leap this year, this is where we have to start. This is the one biggest glaring weakness in his game. In terms of passing depth, this is the only area where he's weak. He's good behind the line of scrimmage. He's good short, and spoiler alert, but he's really good deep. To go from an 86.2 short passing grade to a 58.2 medium passing grade, if he can take half a step in that intermediate range, or hell, even a big full step, that would be massive into turning him into a much more consistent and overall good quarterback. Because the really good quarterbacks, the ones that are winning Heisman trophies, they can beat you at all 3 levels. We saw it with Caleb, we saw it with Jayden Daniels, we saw it with Joe Burrow. Not even saying that Jayden has to be at that level, because he doesn't with this running game and this defense. But yeah, improving there is going to go a long way. And then we look at the deep passing range, which is 20 plus yards. He's at an 84.9 grade here. a 40.6 adjusted completion percentage, which at this range is actually pretty good. Now, he threw the ball deep a ton last year. For reference, he had 57 attempts between 0 to 9 yards. He had 40 attempts behind the line of scrimmage, and then he had 32 attempts of 20 plus yards, making it his third most used quadrant. Overall, he had 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. Now, when you're as aggressive as he is, those deep interceptions are going to happen. But yeah, he had 9 big-time throws when throwing deep. Some guys don't even have 9 big-time throws on the entire year. So what this just goes to show you is that the eye test matches what the analytics say. Jayden Maiava's arm talent is pretty insane. And when you think of Jayden throwing the ball, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Him throwing ropes down the sideline. And when you look at his directional deep passing, that plays out exactly the same. Throwing deep left, he has an 82.8 grade. When he's throwing deep right, he has a 91.1 grade. But when he's throwing deep down the middle, he has a 45.9 grade, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And only 1 big-time throw coming in that range as well. For reference, when he's throwing deep right, he has 6 big-time throws and 2 going to his left. So he can throw that seed down the sideline. He can do that time and time again. That's by far his best throw in my opinion. But with that poor deep center passing grade, what that says to me, I immediately go to that game against Stanford in 2022. Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison, the way Caleb was able to look off that safety and throw that bomb, that's the part of Jayden's game that just isn't there yet. The part of his game that Lincoln Riley no doubt spent the entire offseason trying to work on. It's the mental side of things. It's the manipulation with the eyes. It's understanding the opposing team's coverage. It's all of that sort of stuff. Because when you're throwing deep right, deep left, and you're throwing frozen ropes down the sideline, he's predetermining a lot of those throws, and his arm talent is so insane, and he's so accurate when he's throwing to that part of the field that it works. But when you're throwing deep center, you can't just rely on the velocity. There's not the sideline there to be a protector for you. So that's why he hasn't had as much success in my opinion. So if Jayden can take a big step in the mental side of the game, if he can unlock the deep center part of the field, if he can get much better in that 10 to 19 yard range, then we're looking at a complete quarterback here in my opinion. Now, one more interesting stat that I think really helps to showcase that as well. When Jayden is throwing with no play action, 87.9 grade, absolutely elite. When he can just take the ball, drop back and rip it, he's one of the best in the country. But when there's play action, when there's things added on top of it, more steps he has to go through, he's at a 46.6 passing grade. Not great. To take that a step even further, when he's kept clean in the pocket, 84.3 passing grade. But when he's pressured, that goes off a cliff down to 56.6. Now, Miller Moss, that was one of his strengths. He was very good against pressure, and man, he faced a lot of it. But he knew how to get the ball out quickly. Because if you get a free rusher up the middle on second down, and you could somehow avoid that and throw the ball away without getting an intentional grounding, that is a damn positive play. And that specifically, the throwaways, the quick decision-making, the not taking negative plays, if Jayden can add that to his arsenal, that would be such a big help for Lincoln Riley as a play caller, for this offensive line to not put them in very difficult spots in 3rd and long. It just helps out everybody. Another thing that I thought was interesting when I went back and watched every single play of Jayden's, because remember with Miller Moss, he had a lot of batted balls and it was really frustrating. Jayden actually had quite a bit too. Now, when you watch Jayden throw, yeah, he's very tall, but he has a lower arm slot. So it's much easier for the defenders to bat the ball down. Now, at this stage in Jayden's career, because guys, he's not a young player anymore. This is his 4th year of college football. Do you really want to go messing with his arm slot, with his overall mechanics? Not sure. But you don't usually see guys his size get that many balls batted down. And I do believe that it is due to that arm slot. Now, moving over to the ground game, his ability as a runner. Which, do I think he has the running ability that a lot of USC fans do where he can take over a game doing it? No, I do not. However, I do think he can be a very effective runner of the football, very efficient. And I wish he would have done it more last year. Now, taking out quarterback sneaks, because that doesn't really apply to this conversation. He ran for 6 first downs on the year. Definitely feel like that number can be a much higher average this next year. Because if he is more in tune with the mental side of the game, just like we talked about, if he can be more decisive, if he can pull that ball down quicker and really just get going, he could pick up 2 or 3 first downs a game. I mean, he had 6 over 4 starts and some garbage time against Utah State, which one of those was definitely against. So really, as a starter, he probably had 4 or 5 first downs picked up, which when you play 4 games, a guy that can move as well as he can, that's not enough, plain and simple. So what does Jayden need to work on overall to take that next step and become a true big-time quarterback? Intermediate passing, that 10 to 19 yard range has got to get significantly better. The mental side of the game has to take a massive, massive leap as well. Not predetermining where he's going to go with the ball, being more decisive, knowing what the opposing defense is doing, not just relying on arm talent to get the job done, being a much better play action passer, because as much as we're going to be running the ball this year, he has to be better in that department. Because if you pound the ball, those safeties finally come down and then you hit him with the play action, but the added extra step, maybe having to turn your back to the defense is too much for Jayden to handle, and you can't take advantage of that, that's a big, big miss. So he has to get better there. And then I would just like to see him run the ball more. He's a big physical dude. Put your shoulder down and go get that first down. First downs are gold when you're a quarterback. And again, we're going to be a defensive team. The defense is for sure going to be the strength of this year's squad, in my opinion. So every first down you get, that is giving them more time to catch their breath on the sideline. And oh my God, I sound like such a Big Ten fan as I'm saying this. But yeah, that's where we are in 2025. Lincoln Riley, USC, the quarterbacks and all the wideouts. Nope, we're going to be playing some smash mouth defensive ball, and that's the way it is. Our punter just won the Ray Guy Award. Yeah, we're so Big Ten already. But yeah, overall, that is what the analytics say on Jayden Maiava. Now, after hearing all that, first off, hopefully you learned something. Please like and subscribe if you did. But after hearing all of that, what are your thoughts on Jayden Maiava's game? Where do you want to see him take the biggest leap? Please let me know down below in the comments section. Love to hear from you guys on this. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in today. You're all awesome. And as always, take care and fight on.